As if we're never excited to start on a Tuesday with you, Angela. It's almost like
Oh,
it's like what we live for every week. It's like
you
not
caught
quite,
me
but
off guard. I was gonna do a whole fake like in media res thing, and
haha.
you just like complimented me, and
Ruined it.
and I wasn't ready for it.
Well,
My
you gotta. It's
goodness.
like my compliments are like the Spanish Inquisition.
I don't I don't want to make an assumption about
Nobody
those.
expects them,
No, I know.
and they're arbitrarily executed.
Okay. Okay, there we go. That was what I was yeah, that was what I was expecting. Hello everybody. Welcome to Shenanigoons, Book of Fables. Man, it's like our slide thing is like actually timed to what I'm going to say, which it isn't. I'm Angela. I'm your GM for this evening, and we are so happy to have you today for chapter 26 of our story, Why They Built the Wall. And I'm very excited to kind of get into some lore with you. Thank you so much for the subscription. I know who you are. Hello. We are here on Tuesday. 3 out of 4 of our players. We love you, Tessa. She'll be back next week. Had to take a break, and we are gonna soldier on. Just it's weird. Everybody just occasionally the party T-poses. So, we are members of the Nerdsmith Network. Just plugging that. If you want to take a look, you can find us at nerdsmith.org. You can also join us on our Discord channel. We've got a lovely little community there. If you want to come hang out with all the creators are there. All of us are there all the time. So you can come chat with us, including in our Shenanigoons channel, where you can comment on the show as you're watching it, or we have a spoiler channel, so after the fact you can safely talk about what happened without spoiling it for people who haven't caught up yet. Yes, you should check us out. We are, however, here because of the wonderful generosity of a few really amazing sponsors. We wanted to give them a little bit of a shout out. First of all, we are sponsored by Eldritch Foundry, which is an incredible fantasy miniature designer. You can find them at the link in our chat. And we are our portraits. Boom. Of all of our characters were designed in Eldritch Foundry. I colorized them, but the original models definitely from their really kick-ass art. So you should take a look. If you use the link in our chat, it helps directly support the show. We get credit for people actually purchasing things on Eldritch Foundry. So if you use the link, you're helping keep the lights on for us, so we would love if you did that. You can get miniatures printed, actual little 3D miniatures, or you can get digital copies for your maps or for your stream layouts and all of that jazz. So please take a look at Eldritch Foundry. We are also sponsored by World ANVIL, a unbelievable campaign management and information site where you can create a wiki for your world. Articles, maps, timelines. They now have interactive tables that you can sort and search and roll, so you can make random tables for your games. They also have been rolling out a lot of features for their manuscript option. So if you're a novel writer, it's a great tool to use while also keeping information about your world for your viewers. We will be launching a couple of things this month that are exclusive for our Patreon subscribers. So if you like what you watched today and you want to get some of those sneak peeks, you can become one of our patrons at patreon.com/nerdsmith. But we will be doing some exclusive stuff, including some fiction written by some of our players. And some really cool info. Kyle's been dabbling. Kyle's been taking over Oliette's job and writing a couple of things, writing some stories. From Harlan's point of view, including his foray into stand-up comedy, which I really am excited about sharing with everyone. But those will be exclusive for our Patreon subscribers, just little glimpses into our world and Harlan's brain, if you choose to accept it. So please check out World Anvil, though. You can create your own account at worldanvil.com, and it is free. You can have really amazing features right off the bat, but if you would like to have custom features or help direct the development of World Anvil, you can become a guild member, which is incredibly affordable and really impacts the ability of that very small, intimate team of programmers to make the most out of the suite and its really amazing features. So please check them out and light up the forge. Finally, we are also sponsored by Die Hard Dice. Beautiful, beautiful polymer and metal dice, of which starting to make my Die Hard dice tray kind of heavy. But I'm very excited about my Die Hard dice. But Kyle, do you want to say a little bit? It is the first Tuesday of the month, which means we have a new coupon code and we have a new thing we want to talk about from Die Hard.
Yes. So we have our code for this month. Sorry, on Johnny on the spot is Nerdsmith-May. That's all one word, no space around the hyphen. This month we are promoting the multi-class Dire Champion D20. This is an oversized metal D20 that you can split in half and join with other colorways to make your own unique Dire D20. This thing is beefy, and as Angela says frequently, it will make your tabletop sad that it exists.
Make your table cry.
So, make your table cry. Just mosquitoes and sap and amber, and then, like 65 million years later, people will be, making D&D.
So
Jurassic Park.
These are the Dire D20s, though, which means they're, I think, about 1.5 the size of the normal dice. So bigger than this sucker, but full metal. Right now you can see the champion coloration. That's the one we're talking about. But just so you can take a look, this is what two look together. I think that's the Druid and the Rage color there. But that's what they look like when they're mashed together. You put them together in a very particular way, so it keeps your numbers aligned. So you're not going to accidentally mess up the lineup of your dice, and it's really, really kick-ass. But check out the champion. I got a set of dice like that, but I don't have a set of Die Hard dice like that in the blue and silver that I used for my champion fighter. Actually, she was a battle master, but still, fighter. So, take a look, mix and match, but take a look at the multi-class champion Dire D20. It's so freaking cool. Tessa has one and can confirm it rolls really well, so if you're worried about that. And she should know.
Both worlds, if you can't decide which color you like better, just get both.
Indecisive? Multi-classing? Who cares? Get it anyway.
Then you just have to then you just have to explain to your patron why you chose their side for the one side.
Yeah.
And the other,
yeah.
And somebody else for the 20 side. It's just like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So, check out Die Hard Dice, dieharddice.com, and I'm so sorry, Lane, that your wallet is already crying. But please check them out. We are so pleased to be sponsored by these three amazing companies, and we can't wait to share more stuff with you over the month. Anyway, finally, the last thing is, if you would like to make our tagline accurate, which is Shenanigoons, the sorta D&D fairy tale where you contribute to the chaos, this is how you can contribute to the chaos. Tipping our show on Streamlabs is how you get weird, random things to happen in our show, of which, put a pin in that, we'll talk about that in a second. $5 level lets you gift a reroll to the party, which goes into their party fund. Kyle's in charge of our party pool, so he has the number of D20 rerolls that the players can make at any point.
I do have that.
That's just a reminder. You can gift a reroll to the party, and that will let them reroll any D20 that happens during the game. You can donate $15, which tells us to spin the Wheel of Causality, which is a random magic table, some in-game and meta nonsense for the players to deal with. At $25, you help me create an NPC. Give me some info about them, their names, their pronouns, an appearance description, and maybe something fun about them or why they're there, and I'll incorporate them into tonight's session. And finally, at $50, if you tip us $50, you gift the party a DM Ex Machina, which is a 1 minute of DM powers to do with as they please. We've had it happen several times. Sometimes it ends with me giving them magic items. Sometimes it ends in a meet cute. Who knows? It just all depends on who. Make sure you tell us who gets the DM powers for the minute, and we start the clock, and they get to run amok. Amok. Anyway, yeah. You know.
And I think we established with the last one that the person who gifts us the DM powers gets to choose when it happens.
We usually just do it when they gift it, because that's usually when they want it to happen. I had given somebody the ability to pick because I had gifted her an extra 30 seconds because I had changed the rule the previous night. I went, I'm going to give him a minute, and then I realized I did that after Mouse already donated. I should give her the other 30 seconds. So that was just to catch up on the bill.
My bad.
But they are now a minute long, and when you donate, that is when once we notice it, we start the DM. But please,
The chaos.
ping us in the chat, and we'll notice, and we'll get it started. So, that wasn't too bad. It was like 11 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. I think we got through that pretty quick. Anyway, let's catch our dear Chris up, because Chris wasn't in last session. So let's talk about the last session. Last session, the party arrived on the island of Mythgar. Actually, I have something for this. I know I just totally showed the screen. So the party arrived on the island of Mythgar, which, as with everything out here in outside the chronograms, is new for them. They've never experienced anything out here. So the island of Mythgar, as it turns out, is a predominantly centaur island. There's a lot of centaur and animal folk around here. And when where is all my stuff? I have maps and shit. So when they arrived, they encountered... Well, two things happened. First, Nicket, one of the Tabaxi twins that has been hanging around with the group, she twisted her ankle, twisted their ankle because their brother was goofing off. Villain gave Nicket basically a piggyback ride for the rest of the trip. It was very cute. And they encountered Mr. Compendio, who was a traveling merchant, a goblinoid traveling merchant riding a giant mechanical beetle that was made out of a barrel, which was some of his storage for his shop. They bought a couple of interesting items, learned a little bit more about the island, or at least the idea that not many people show up from the mainland, and then they made their way to the town of Heathen's Church. Heathen's Church, which I believe had the tagline, what was it? It was like, Heathen's Church stirring up trouble since, 500 years ago or something. And
I got it here.
Oh, please gift us.
Proudly bucking the system since 300 years ago.
I knew it was a horse joke. Thank you. So, and just a little, I'm going to do this as a little bit of a sneak preview for everybody. That was a bad call. Hold on. There we go. This is the new historical map of Thuria that the party has access to. This shows you, well, right here is where they are right now. They're right there in the island of Mythgar. That is where they traveled. And so when they reached the town of Heathen's Church, they went to a bar. You go where you go where most people are, and the tavern was the place they picked. Heathen's Church is in the middle of a market day right now, which meant there were a bunch of horseless wagons because the proprietors of those shops actually tow their own carts. And there was a big dust cloud in town because of all the hoof traffic of all the centaurs visiting Heathen's Church. Heathen's Church was apparently named because visitors from the mainland came and decided they were too pagan, called them heathens, and they took the name and ran with it as a point of pride. So You all ended up at a tavern, and you had you met a let's see. You met some folk, and Harland actually started working at the tavern as a bit of a volunteer to gather some information. You helped out a little jackalope fellow named Rodnick, very nervous, anxious baker. He made little crescent roll dragons. And you helped protect Rodnick from the loud, boisterous overtures of a big group of mercenaries that were being loud and drunk and such, one of which burst into tears on Harlan's shoulder when Harlan gave them cheese. That's a very fair reaction to being handed a giant bowl of cheese, I think. But you also got to speak a little bit with Mihai, who was the proprietor of the tavern. He gave you a bit of information, as did Rodnick, about what was going on before people showed up here on the island. Like, or rather, there are refugees here in Heathen's Church, in a place called Thuria's Refuge. It's like a neighborhood in town, a refugee neighborhood. You found out that there were a number of high-ranking warriors or generals in the counter-army forces when the Mechanus authorities showed up on the island, and you decided to ask about one of them. One of them was Ulvar. Ulvar God's Eye. Ulvar God's Eye is an archer. Legend says he can hit his target from across a continent away. And eventually you found out that General, or this Ulvar figure, was the drunken elk centaur who had been basically half-conscious at the bar the whole time you were there. You interacted with Mr. Ulvar. He was very drunk, kept forgetting what you were talking about. But when you started insinuating that you were from outside the chronograms, or that you were from inside the chronograms, he got very serious. Still drunk, but at least a little more attentive. Wow, this is very appropriate for the rest of the story. Ulvar said that it would be best for you to learn what happened if you came to the refuge with him. And he sort of stumbled out of the bar, led you all to the outskirts of town where there was a fenced-in wall in the neighborhood. Not gated, just separated because it probably used to be a refugee camp. And as you entered into this small, very modest little village district, you see that the walls surrounding it on the inside of those walls are, I hesitate to call it decorated, but they are covered with portraits and paintings and photos of people. Presumably those...
Adorned.
Yes. Presumably those left behind in the chronogram. Or those left behind on the mainland. Those maybe lost during the war. Or those stuck in the chronograms. Now, I know we start this on a very somber note. But we here at Shenanigoons are nothing if not tonally dissonant. So, Bex very kindly donated $15 before the session ended last week, which means we start tonight's session with a roll of the Wheel of Causality, of which I don't have the layout, but I will roll anyway. And I will let you know what the roll is.
Who's the target again?
Beza.
Me.
Beza is the target. Let me get this set up for us.
Seems Mike, I know you're watching and you're not allowed to do anything. already getting
Unless we all get hit, in which case it comes back around to you being eligible again.
Yes. So, let me get us into this very quickly. We're gonna call this the wheel, and I'm going to add a browser and go there, and we get rid of. Sorry about this, folks. Getting there. There we go. Okay. So. Oh, you don't need to be there. Calm
But they
down.
want to be.
The dice really want you to get them. Don't forget to check out Die Hard Dice. All right.
The barbarian dice, no.
I really shouldn't. That'd be a mistake. All right, let's find out what happens. Dun, dun, dun. God damn it. Okay.
What is it? I can't read it.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Great. So, give me a one. Okay. Give me a. Okay. Heather. Big or little?
Yeah.
Just give me an answer. Big or little?
Big.
Give me a D10.
Okay. My ass is scared.
Oh, you should be.
It's a 4.
4. Okay. So, you didn't notice as you left. You followed Olvar to the refuge. And this actually works really well. You all enter in and you see the wall surrounding this neighborhood full of pictures. Verlaine and the kittens are all kind of taken aback. Baze, as you're watching, you feel you got bumped. Like your shoulder got bumped. You were in the back, though. You don't know who bumped into you. And you turn around, and there was a giant, gelatinous jellyfish. Just... And then you look behind it, and there's 3 more flumps floating behind you.
Is it the same ones from Oliet?
No! New ones. New flumps.
Can you tell?
Let me look at you.
Guys, I think we have some more friends.
And you, you just see these flumps floating around. And they just kind of bump in, and Olvar is blinking a little bit, like clearly trying to figure out if he's seeing, like, if his vision is messed up, or if there are in fact 4 of these things.
What was the name for the pack of flumps again?
We called them a... Oh, they're called a, hold on. It's something like, it's like, it's like monastery. Hold on. They are called...
Like an enclave or a something?
Cloister?
Cloister. Yeah, it's a cloister of flumps. 4 of them.
Beza turn and look at them. Your cloister's probably all right to be here with us, but please stay close and don't get in anyone's face except for this group, because we won't hurt you, but I don't know what other people are going to think.
They are all green colored, like this green kind of blooms, like an octopus. They're curious.
All right. I'm going to take the green color as a good thing. I'm Beza.
Do y'all know Dragon Lord?
One of them turns something between like a little flicker of red, but then back to green. Like, oh, Dragon Lord. Like that kind of, like a little, like, oh, goodness gracious sort
That
of
guy owes me
reaction.
money.
More like, that sounds terrible. I don't want to meet one of those. So yeah, they're just.
I just thought that we got a bunch of flumps back home that just randomly appeared out of nowhere, and all of a sudden here you are, and well, it's certainly a pleasant occurrence to see you here.
Yeah, the others are living in a bookstore.
They turn pink with amusement. Villain kind of wanders up and goes, "Look, information!" And then points at the wall, and the flumps all go, and they'll float around. They all float away towards the wall, and they start looking at stuff.
Well, I sure hope that nothing negative comes of that.
Well, you see them start to turn blue. I mean, the wall's sad. So
So sad.
yeah, they're just gonna get really depressed now.
Like they go over and they're all excited and slowly turn blue and look droopy.
Olvar, the large elk centaur with the eye patch and probably some crescent roll crumbs in his beard. So, you lot are, well, here we are. Welcome to the refuge. Sorry, tongue twister with all the, that excellent drink you gave me.
I just grabbed what was available.
Well, you pick well. And he sort of shakes out a little bit. Like the shake goes all the way down to his tail. He's trying to like wake up a little bit. All right. So, you lot said you're from the chronograms, the cities, and you just meandered your way out.
Well, no, we caught the ferry.
It's more like we stole a train.
How do you manage that? Like, who? Like,
A lot of button pushing, and
I know how a train works. I'm just meaning, how do you get out without anyone stopping you?
Chaos.
lots of it.
Well, I'm sure they took a liking to that.
No, they didn't take kindly to it.
I figured. Well, so you lot were looking for me. Why, besides taking me down a lovely trip down memory lane, looking for something specific?
Well, I mean, any information on exactly what happened during the war, honestly. The truth is, they got some sort of magic or something that makes everybody just forget it even happened. So we don't know anything. Except that it happened.
Forget what happened. Like, I mean, it's 50 years ago, so there's at least some of the younger ones probably wouldn't know. But what you mean nobody remembers?
Nobody. What they tell people is that everything beyond the walls is just really wild and crazy and full of chaos, magic, and dangerous. And nobody knows anything about the fight, or that there's other people out here or anything.
I mean, they're not wrong.
We grew up thinking that they had just kind of always been there.
No, son. Definitely haven't.
gather that now.
He looks around. Maybe we should, I think I need a seat. And another drink. And he wanders over through the town, through the little neighborhood. You see, I mean, it's a pretty established town. Stone houses, wood houses. There's some shops. They also are having they have their own little market square. You don't see a lot of centaurs in this area. It's a lot more of variety in the way that you would see in the cities. There's humans, not so many humans, but there are a lot of elves. You see some tieflings. You see some dragonborn. Just kind of a good variety of folk. A lot of half-born folk as well. Half elves and half orcs, and kind of mix and match of several other types of folk. They look like they're living their lives. It's a simple place. It's not all the bells and whistles of living in the urban chronograms, but it's not like the worst thing. The only thing that really, I mean, honestly, kind of pervades the tone of the place is the walls. These paintings, and there's candles and stuff lit, and flowers are growing. They're not like bouquets of flowers. It's like somebody planted flowers at the base.
What time of day is it?
It is, I think it's going to be like midday or like late afternoon or like early afternoon.
Okay.
So for Ulvar to be already this far in his cups is a statement.
Right. I guess that's why I assumed it was later.
No, he's just.
He's just.
Yeah. This was a vibe a lot of you got from him. He seems to be drinking himself into forgetfulness, or he didn't really seem like he was. He did mention that the war was something they lost. So, he wasn't super excited to talk about it.
And now he's wandered back away from us, going to a bar.
Yeah, something.
We presume.
Something like that. He looks like he's actually heading over to an open air space, like a big patio space. It's got lots of lots of almost like picnic table kind of things, and some what do you call them? They're like lattice, like they're sort of like a outdoorsy roof kind of patio thing, where there are some people out there. There's someone playing dragon chess. There's two people playing dragon chess. These older tieflings playing dragon chess with each other, and there's a busker just kind of strumming on a little mandolin. It's a human woman. Actually, you look at her and she's half-elf. And there's a few more people kind of fluttering about. And Ulvar wanders over to what looks like a fire pit, which isn't lit or anything. Just kind of lounges. Pulls out a flask from one of his pouches on his back.
So, how long ago did you say this all happened? This all went down?
Well, the first incursion happened about 80 years ago.
Like the first time that the Mechanus authorities showed up?
Right, the first time they, yes, made themselves known, expressed their intent to protect life on the island by taking over life on the island. It's not like it hadn't been, not like there hadn't been concerns. Occasional, occasional bout of bedlam, as we went to call it. What you called chaos.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking about that, what exactly was the nature of the chaos that was so threatening that they would want to show up and protect everybody from it?
Well, I get the vibe that they, I wasn't part of the initial negotiations, but they just didn't like the idea of chaotic energy in general. The bedlam made itself known in a couple of different ways. It was sometimes, well, it's been a bit since I've seen it, but your little friends. He kind of points over at the flumps. That's the most harmless type. But there was also destruction. Power. I watched a mountain explode. Like a whole fucking mountain.
That sounds less than ideal.
When you say power, pardon me, also, I'm taking notes, so you should just be aware of that. Full disclosure and everything.
He nods. But whatever.
When you say power, are you referring to a handful of specific individuals, perhaps one individual in particular, or is it just everybody?
It wasn't people. It was places. There were fractures in the earth. And the energy just sort of spewed out of it.
I see.
Sometimes with quite a lot of pomp. But, occasionally the little harmless stuff, that happened all over. People just thought it was the quirk of the place, you know? It was charming. Sometimes. But these fractures, they were destructive. Felled entire cities. It got worse over the years.
So they were steadily getting worse. Like, it was all right.
After a while, the powers that be started communicating with each other and comparing notes, and we found that the whole island was starting to get worse. We were in the midst of worrying about how to fix it when all these little clockwork buggers showed up, claiming they had the answers, the solutions, ways to permanently fix everything so no one had to worry anymore about the unbridled chaos. Declared themselves the saviors of the island.
That seems a bit premature.
Well, I might be paraphrasing a bit, in hindsight. They were very insistent.
That I could believe.
They took one first. Made a little home for themselves.
Was that at the worst spot, or was that just one of the spots?
Just one of them. I think it might have been more of a, well, let's say it was a test run. Invited people to come help colonize the place, make it work, and if they could get it to work, then they might be able to solve all of our problems.
Now, this may be a bit of a sidetrack, but do you happen to know which area of Thoria that was? Was the north or the south, or the
was in the
left
north.
side or the right side?
It was in the northwest.
I
Near the
mean, that it stands to reason, wouldn't it? Perhaps that number one, station one on the map, is where they started everything, and
you
then they
do.
just went clockwise.
Villain opens their hand, and the map that they'd been writing on shows up. It's the old historic map, and you take a look at the markings. He'd been marking where the chronograms might have been based on the metro map, and he shows all of our kind of glances. Oh, is this bullshit? Aye, that's about where it is.
Oh. Wait, isn't one where the
Closest to
What's the-
us.
reclamation, is that right? No, that's not
Four
right.
four is where the reclamation center
That's where we
was.
started. Okay. I was like, wait.
That's the island on the map. Let me. While you're talking about the map, we might as well put the map on the screen.
Huzzah.
Look at that shit. I mean, it's not going to be very helpful right there, but we'll put it right here. There
Oh,
we go.
that's fine. Okay.
So yeah, he indicates that over to the on the northern tip of the island is where it started.
Like above the big tree.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Things were going fine for a while. Actually, seemed like they were helping. The area sort of calmed down. Took a few years.
Then the other spots got worse.
You put a stopper in a wall, and there's too many holes. The other holes start feeling the pressure. So they proposed building again. Well, not once, but they proposed the whole fucking system. Bottling up each fracture that they could identify. And they wanted everybody to move into the chronograms right on top of the fucking things. Help keep things running on time. That the more...
Like their weight would hold it down and hold it in.
Not the weight, boy.
The weight
More
of
people.
like, the synchronicity, the
Aye.
opposing
Aye.
force of order. Functions
Oh.
like gravity.
The better things ran, the more people embraced their way of thinking, the more it, well, the way they said it, the more it combat the chaos.
So, I'm guessing that. I mean, what was the spark that lit the fire of rebellion, as it were?
Well, there were a number of folk didn't take kindly to the idea of just suddenly being named a colony of mechanists. They were invaders. Which, I can understand the point. I can also understand being afraid enough to let someone take over and handle things. It's not like there was an easy answer. But I, as most of us here on Mythgar did, sided with independence. Not wanting to hope they had the long-term solution. We had people working on the problem. We had people researching, figuring things out. It wasn't like we couldn't do it ourselves. They were very insistent.
They tend to be.
Forgive me if you've already covered this, but where did they come from?
Another plane, love. They came from a world made a clockwork. There are lots of levels of existence.
Right.
They all connect together. Material plane is a little bit of all of them. Sort of the sum of its parts. But the planes, the other planes, they personify particular aspects of reality. Mechness is order.
Well, you're starting to sound like my mentor talking about these highfalutin philosophical concepts.
Oh, trust me, I've had enough time to have it kick around in my brain. That's why I'm trying to, kill a few more off. And he takes a sip from his flask.
I hardly think that that's the healthiest habit to be in.
Listen, we shouldn't judge. People get by, people, you deal with how you deal. You know what I mean? You're doing your best.
I mean, no
I
judgment.
usually just go hunting.
What was that, Beza?
I usually just go hunting.
Killing
See,
things
tomato,
works too,
tomato.
but it's a little hard to get away with that.
I guess it depends on what you're feeling.
Well, you'd be happy to know that there's a rebellion that's starting in one of the chronograms.
From inside?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a very particular Modron that is opposed to the Mechanist Authority.
You don't say. A little Modron.
I do.
Mm-hmm. He's a character.
Sounds it. So it's what? You lot, the little kittens over there, and a Modron. That's the great,
And-
that's the great rebellion.
No, there's some more. There's someone on the inside, as it were, in his big pit. It's very cold to pet, and a very fabulous wizard that just was. Have you heard of just this glitter? It's just it gets everywhere and it just sticks. I still have some in my fur.
Wait, hold on. Rexstrom's are alive.
No, he went by Pimble.
Pimble Rexstrom is alive.
Oh, see, now that I know both of his names, a little of the magic's gone.
What's his last name?
Rexstrom is his last name. I
Well,
have it on good authority.
yeah, I mean, as far as we can tell, yes. Alive and kicking it. Living well, actually. I mean,
Mhm.
he knows how to throw a party, I'll say that.
I mean, I don't disagree, but Pimble is in the chronogram.
Well, yeah.
How in the fuck did that work?
Of course, we've already used the charge to call Pinball today.
Hey.
Mhm.
Does he know you?
I fucking hope so. Asshole owes me money. That's not why I know him, but it's not why I know him.
Sorry.
Calm down, love. And he looks just utterly flabbergasted. He takes a long drink from his flask.
I'm not surprised that he owes you money. He didn't seem the type to carry a whole lot on him. I don't think a wallet would have fit in those back pockets.
Oh, man.
Those tight pants.
They're very tight.
Mm-hmm. You all were born in the chronograms, weren't you?
Correct.
Allegedly.
As far as I know.
You wouldn't know this then.
Notice what?
You wouldn't know this.
Oh,
Sorry, it's the accent. There was a point near the end of, I suppose they called it a war. I think that's maybe being a bit generous. Where we stormed the chronograms. Tried to get, I mean, the walls were a bit to scale, but we did it. A lot of people had been moved into the cities, or had been invited. Eventually, they stopped being invited and started being
but
brought in. Aye. We were. Pimble was one of them. Me and him and. There was a few others. But we were getting close to the core of the city. And those son of a bitches were probably working on this the whole time. They set off some sort of arcane bomb. Covered the whole city. Made a bubble. That's the only way we could describe it. Sort of started in the middle, pushed out. They had been talking about some sort of algorithm, some sort of way of measuring folks' likelihood of being most helpful. And so they were bringing people in based on that. When the bubble went off, me and a bunch of the others, a whole bunch of folks living in the chronogram, got just pushed out. Didn't hurt, just pushed everyone out. Except for those they deemed most likely to be dedicated to the cause of keeping things in order. People with the temperament. Not going to pretend to know what sort of calculus they did to do that, but they decided that they had weighed and measured us. Most of the armies were just pushed out.
so if and I assume that once the bubble was up, it stayed up, right? You couldn't get back in.
They started building more forces, and the wall got taller pretty quickly. And at that point, there weren't many of us left. Except for those who'd gotten pushed out, of course. There were a few more refugees after that. He looks around a little bit. Most of this lot, at least most of this lot's descended from the folks who got pushed out. A bunch of them still remember. We never heard
How
anything
long-
back. What, love?
How long ago was that final push?
About 50 years.
Now, just because I'm used to old yet here taking records of everything that we've done, were the records made of the people that made it to Mythgar?
I'm sure they have something. They've got a...
Like a census or something?
Yeah. They tried their best, but I mean, people were sort of flung all over the place. The people here in Mythgar, they're just the ones from Rehoboth Beach. Sorry, your chronogram.
Well, this has been informative.
I'm glad.
So there's no written records anywhere. It's just these pictures everywhere.
Someone around here might have something. And there are, Fort Wildwood would have most of it. Anything left of the military push. Villain kind of leans over to you, Oliet, and shows you on the historic map. There's a place called Wildwood. It's in the southwest. It's actually, yeah, it's near the middle of the. It's that lake that's on the west side of the island. That's
Oh, yeah,
Wildwood. It's where you'd find most folks. There's a few more of us that were in the Vanguard. Me, fucking Pinball. So you said nobody remembers? Even him?
No one remembers exactly what happened. Pinball knows something happened, and he knows that his memory's not quite right. But that's about it.
Yeah, he's part of the reason that we're out here. We're finding out what we can.
See, that's what gets me. They said they calculated for everyone who'd play nice. Everyone most likely to get in line. Pinball's not one of those kinds. He must have done something. To get in, to stay in. I mean, it seemed to backfire on him, though, if he doesn't remember jack shit.
He's got a lot of creative magic, so it wouldn't surprise me if he had something that protected him from the push bubble.
Just not the fog that you talk about.
Well, the fog was a lot further out from the wall, so it's probably that started to affect him before he actually made it inside.
Or it came later. I don't remember a fog when we first stormed.
It's definitely there now, and it's full of mechanical centaur things.
Well, that's fucking terrifying.
And slightly offensive, I must say.
I'm good not seeing one of those, probably.
Yeah, they weren't that much fun.
He kind of
Hopefully
leans
they
his
can
head. Go ahead.
follow us into the woods.
Well, as long as they didn't follow you over the water.
Has there ever been an organized attempt to go get those people out of the city? Ever? By the people here? I mean, if the photos are any indication, then somebody must have meant something to someone. Did anybody ever try to go back and get them?
These are just people, love. They're not soldiers. They never were. They just were scared. I mean, we tried our best, but especially in the first few years, there were significant obstacles. They were pretty insistent on keeping their border. And after a while, the chaos died down, at least from what we could tell out here. And the High General and Fort Wildwood called a ceasefire. Said it wasn't worth losing more lives. So we all went home. And booze and boredom's all that's left. And a little bit of regret. Well, not a little bit.
I mean, now that I don't want to toot our horn, as it were, but now that we're here, maybe that's a little bit of hope that, you know, something can be done, that something is being done.
Well, you're certainly an unusual group.
So we've been told.
Right. Well, out of character. Do we have a place to stay tonight?
You haven't really established
Yes.
one.
We should probably find somewhere to stay.
Is there an inn here?
Oh, aye. Sure. We've got plenty of things around.
Is there still room? Because I know with the festival here that might give us a couple of tight spaces.
Well, there's going to be a lot of tight spaces around here with how much room everybody takes up. But,
I mean, I'm no stranger to a hayloft, but I mean,
well, most of the, well, honestly, a lot more people like camping under the stars. You'll end up with a lot of tailgating, honestly. But,
Risky.
Heathen's Church, really well known for its jello shots and cornhole.
I'm there.
It's just football tailgating.
Listen.
Around here, though,
Dips at football tailgating.
you'll probably find yourself some lodging around here, though. Not as many people wander all the way out here from town. And this is like on the far side of town, on the opposite end as the as where you saw all the wagons and stuff when you first came in.
Okay.
Also, the stuff around here, there aren't a lot of centaurs in the refugees, if any. So honestly, probably just not very accommodating to centaurs in terms of like staying places. Beds and rooms and stuff are probably not that built for someone of that size.
is there any particular place that you know by reputation that you might be able to recommend our way?
Well, the kippers aren't too bad over at the Noisy Oxen. There are some pretty solid Bloody Marys at the Dawnshire.
They need healing.
No. I mean,
I'll explain it.
I
I'll explain it
mean,
later.
if you're resorting to Bloody Marys, you probably do need a bit of healing.
I was gonna say it's the other way around. The Bloody Marys do the healing.
There you go. She got
Well,
it.
why? They should heal themselves first.
He's got a point.
Oh wow, I am outnumbered.
Verlaine is just like, he's just amazed. No, please explain.
Explain
It
it on the
says
way.
they have good food and drink. But which ones have beds?
Well, the Bell Tree, that'll have some beds probably. It's a actual like honest to goodness inn. Not a lot of them around.
They might have soap.
They might indeed. Okay, well, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. And he takes a long sip.
Mr. Olvar, I think you that you've shared with us what is obviously a very uncomfortable topic.
Aye.
I was hoping that you might be able to share one more thing, though.
Aye. What are you looking for?
You know something embarrassing about old Pinball? I just got a wild hair under my hat, and I just thought I'd ask.
Well, I mean, I want to be sure that someone is using it for, not for ill. What sort of...
I have not a nefarious bone or hair on my body.
That's true. It's sadly, sadly true.
All right. You want to know
Got
something?
lots of bones, though.
I would hope so.
Lots of hair.
I can see that. Thank you. So you want to know something about Pinball? What counts as embarrassing to that man? He has no shame.
Oh, well, if he has no shame, that's no fun then.
Well, I mean, I could think something. Well,
What about what about something that he wore that did not flatter his figure? I'm sure that he would find that embarrassing.
that man wears jodhpurs. I don't think he really has much of a. Listen, you want to get under Pinball's skin. Give him white wine. He'll go fucking berserk.
That sounds dangerous.
Oh, and when I say fucking berserk, I mean in the most delightful way possible. He goes on a big speech about what real wine is. And he's just like... You'd think you sent his mother down the river Styx. And, yeah, it's just delightful, actually.
Sounds like Ma and strawberry sangria.
Sangria sounds real good right now. Is that all you need for now? I assume you'll come darkening my door at some point. Again.
I'm not very dark.
And we'll send Basil.
He glances at Oliet. It's your party.
Yeah, and I'll definitely be crying later if I want to. I think
Very good.
we are, you've been a great help. We will leave you to your business.
Aye, an important business it is.
Yeah.
Quick question, or wait, I don't remember. Do they use money here?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, they took money.
Okay.
If you go back to the previous Mihai's establishment, you should order some of the croissants. They were handcrafted by a wonderfully autistic individual.
The little fidgety fella.
Well, yeah, he's real good at croissants.
I know. I've had a few. And he's scratching. You see croissant flakes in his beard.
Save some for later.
Hey. And he shakes it out, suddenly realizing what you're saying. And he leaves you to wander the refuge. You watch him kind of meander.
Okay. So here's the deal, y'all. I'm broke. So I'm gonna defer to the group, but Dawnshire sounded like an excellent accommodation. That's my personal vote. We can sleep outside if you want. We really don't have to though. But we can.
Was that the place with the Marys that are in need of
Mm-hmm.
healing?
Yeah. I mean, you really, if they're good, you should experience. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to find a good Bloody Mary, so it's like when somebody tells you they have good Bloody Marys, you should probably check it out.
Well, what would make them evil?
Well, yeah, I don't need to tell you what percentage of Harlan just became less attractive. You can determine that on your own. Someone's tracking it. I don't remember who. I think Mouse is tracking it.
But yeah,
that's good
whatever you
places
think.
in.
I don't really have to sleep the same way you guys do. Plus, you know, I don't have any squishy bits that get uncomfortable overnight, so it's up to you.
I mean, as long as as long as they have some accommodations for smaller framed individuals of our party, Paru and the kids.
We can sleep wherever. We're pretty. And Toshi nods. Yeah, we're pretty accommodating.
We're all right there.
The word's adaptable. Oh, adaptable. We're pretty adaptable.
I mean, we've been camping out technically since we left the chronogram, so, you know.
Yeah, anything.
So like a bed wouldn't hurt, right?
Yeah,
Like,
anything's a step
should be
up.
Yeah.
As long as they have soap and I can take a nice long hot shower, that would be very appreciated.
Well, let's go find out.
All right. So you wander through looking for the Dawnshire.
Should we go back and get the flump?
They're kind of just bloom, bloom, bloom.
They'll figure it out.
Maybe we just leave a
Right?
window
It's
open
fine.
for them.
Cloister, we're heading for an inn. That's what they called themselves, right? A cloister?
I mean, listen, it's like if a flump is meant to be in your life, you're supposed to let it go and see if it comes back to you. You know what I mean? So if they show up again, wonderful. But
You sure that's not how you get rid of a flump?
no, what are you talking about? Of course not.
I'm just worried that someone's gonna think there's something dangerous and try to hurt him.
I mean, they have defense mechanisms. I'm sure they can defend themselves. They just
Or
go
they
real
won't,
red at 'em.
and they'll get, who knows? Maybe these, whatever. Maybe they're a delicacy.
Dark.
Is it? Weren't we eating monster horses in the forest? Is that dark?
Do the monster horses just want to read books?
I don't know. We didn't ask them.
Yeah,
I
right,
mean, she
didn't.
has a point.
I also didn't tell you we were eating Munster horse until it was too late, because I didn't think you'd like it.
I appreciate that.
But sustenance and sleep awaits us at yonder establishment.
Is there anything you guys look at or look for as you're traveling through the town? Anything that
I wanna
might?
look at the wall as we're walking around.
Sure, absolutely. So you walk down. You take the long way around, and take a look at some of these wall installations. It is upsettingly dense. There are a lot of pictures. You see portraits. Like I said, you see photos, so things that are sort of on celluloid, kind of old-timey flash photography, kind of daguerreotypes, I think. Are they called daguerreotypes? Something like that. Old photography. Arcane old photography. Paintings. Just writing descriptions with names, little sketches. You guys give me a perception check as you're looking through the wall.
I was gonna say what is my? I was gonna say I'm scanning the wall, but I'm also against all odds. Oh, nice. Against all odds, I'm trying to scan any faces, whether they are people here or people in photographs or paintings, that might share some of the traits
Mm-hmm. You're looking for tieflings.
that I might have.
You're looking for tieflings. Okay. So yeah, go ahead and
The ones I would have inherited from my mother.
sure. Go ahead and give me guys, give me perception checks.
22.
22 for Basil,
11.
11 for Oliet. Okay. So, Oliet, you are focusing a little bit on specific look. You're looking for horns, essentially. And there are just so many people listed. You realize how many people live in the city and how many people now don't based on this. Beza, you're a little lower and you're kind of glancing at some of the portraits and things. You see a lot of humans. You see some of the descriptions that are written out talking about someone being very sweet, answers to the name Sora, answers to the name Lilith, answers to the name, and there's just a lot of them. You do see a picture that kind of like you kind of walk past and then you kind of back up and look at it. You see for like 2 seconds you were like, that doesn't look like Oliet. And then you back up. You see a tiefling woman. Looks remarkably like Oliet. How much like her mother does Oliet look, you think?
So, gosh, I remember I established there's like two things we have in common. I think maybe I can't remember if it's our skin tone or our hair color, but one of my
You
most
can decide.
prominent features, let's say the hair, because that might be a little bit more unique.
Okay.
If the push happened 50 years ago, by Oliet's calculations, her mother would have been born just after that happened. So, but there's like no family to speak of.
Yeah.
It's literally just Ebb for some reason, and he's never disclosed to me why that is or where anybody is. So, really, she's just trying to see if there's anybody out here that might have answers, but I'm not, if it would be an aunt or a grandmother, maybe.
Yeah.
If there is somebody that bears a resemblance.
So
a paternal aunt.
A paternal aunt. But yeah, you see a woman who looks remarkably like Oliet, and you see a very young tiefling boy. And
Does the tiefling boy have the same coloring as her uncle? Oliet, I think you might want to look at this one.
Okay.
Especially if I've noticed she's with a 20 perception. I'm assuming I probably noticed that she was looking at all the tiefling ones.
Mm-hmm.
This little boy, the coloring looks a lot like your uncle.
Well, okay. I mean, yeah, I'll give you that. There is some similarity, but that would mean that no, that's weird.
Is there a name on the back?
Mm. I guess I'll
Um,
look.
Sure. Angela misread the thing, so we're gonna retcon real quick. We're gonna say there was a little girl and a woman. Like little, like toddler. That's what we're gonna say. So we're gonna say there's a little girl and a tiefling woman. Both tiefling. The little girl has Oliette's hair.
I was gonna say, does the little girl look a little bit like Oliette when we were
Yes.
younger?
Yeah. A little bit.
Oh.
Little bit. The hair is the biggest giveaway. Yeah, this was Angela reading younger or older and not remembering.
Yeah, Eva's younger.
Yeah. All fixed.
Okay, so
On the back, it says, my wife, or rather, yeah, hold on one second. It says, my wife Zahala and my daughter Histara. Has descriptions of them, talks about that Zahala was a notary. She lived at this address in the chronogram.
Address?
Hmm?
Is it the bookstore address?
Yep.
what?
Hey, that's kind of neat. That little one looks just like you.
Things are kind of pulled Harlan away for a second. Harlan, I think it might be your mom.
So
Yeah.
okay.
The bottom of the note that has the information says, if you have any information about my family, please contact Arcor Darit. Oliet.exe has stopped working. Villain like kind of sidles up. Is like, you doing okay, Sunshine? I mean, no is clearly the answer, but
Who I think it is?
I just realized I don't think I've ever seen my grandmother's face before.
She was real pretty.
I'm gonna take the photo.
okay. She has Uncle Eb's coloration, so light blue, sort of pale hair, like pale blue hair.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna commit the name to memory, which was what again?
The names were Zahala was the name of the wife, and Arcor was the name.
Arcor.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just gonna put it in my bag.
Cool. No doubt.
Cool. It's fine. It's fine.
Okay. So you all start making your way over to where there are some people milling about, you assume, where kind of the taverns are. And you make your way over to the Dawnshire. which is right across from a place called the Beltree. It seems like this is like the Tavern Street. Fuck it. It's called Tavern Street. Why not? And as you start getting closer to these taverns, you hear this really gentle tinkling of bells, sort of like wooden wind chimes, kind of sounding. And as you are heading for the, as you're heading closer, you note that the Beltree has several, like, legit trees and, like, gardens in front of the building. And there are these big pear-shaped fruit on them. And some of them have started sort of bursting at the bottom, like a seed pod. And they're like... ding, 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 like with, like I said, sounds like a wooden wind chime. That sort of bamboo kind of sound. So there's this sort of pervasive little clinking that's happening in different tones from that place. But across the street is the Dawnshire. It is a building that has been completely covered in sod grass so that it looks like a little hill with a hole. With a holder, because why not?
Why not?
And in the hill grass are all of these tiny little purple flowers. And yeah, it's cute. Cute little place. It's tall.
How tall is the door?
It's big enough for people. It's a big. It's a normal sized place. Sorry, it's not a hobbit hole. And
big enough for Paru.
it's
Beza.
yeah, it's big enough for Harland. So you're good. And you start heading inside. The Dawnshire.
Harland will grab a couple of the purple flowers on the way in.
Sure. As you reach for one of them, the flower just kind of doesn't want to get plucked.
I apologize. I just thought you were very pretty, and therefore I wanted to pick you, which I realize is not a great thing to have done. So, my apologies.
Kind of
Amazing.
opens back up on the hill. Harlan notes this because he was trying to pluck it, but they do kind of shift a little bit as you walk by the wall. Like, they're just like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa,
What the fuck, man? I'm growing here. Come on. God, I've never wished so much that Paru was here.
Right.
She'd totally want to talk with these fucking flowers. Yes. Thank you, Kyle. You got the joke. Good job. Take inspiration. Good job.
Yay!
I know I wasn't really doing that as much anymore. But it's fun. So you go into this tavern, and it is really nice and cozy. It is actually kind of reminiscent of something you'd find in The Hobbit. Very high wooden rafters in the space. All the pillars and stuff are really robust. And there are these little square stools at the bar, and the bar has a bunch of barrels embedded in the wall. They're really pretty. Everything is just like finely polished and well kept, and it's just this like sunny little bar, kind of like a fantasy brunch spot. Sorry. So yeah, you go into this. You go into the tavern, and all of the pillars and the doors and the rafters all have this engraving in them. It's beautiful, like grapevines and corn stalks and leaves and ivy. The doors are all round because they look like wine barrels. and so there's these grapevine engravings on the doors. It's really, it's like very cutesy in terms of vibe. And also at the bar, there is a, let's see, who's you got? There is a, there is a Minotaur. He's got black and white fur, and big bull horns, and he's just got a little apron on, and he's just very gently cleaning a stein.
Before we approach the bar,
Mhm.
how many rooms do we need, and also how much money do we have? And by we, I definitely mean y'all.
I mean, I can work for my room.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
do
mean,
you
he's
think
been
they'll
in the
trade
habit.
I don't have any money, but I still have some furs and the leathers and everything that we got out there, and all the feathers too. They're in Delaney's hand, but I have them.
Okay, fur and leather is
He
good.
pulls a feather out.
That begs the question: do they take the same money that they did on the island? Well, now that we're on a different island.
Well, I mean,
I
they're.
mean, they did at the other tavern, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Yeah, they took it. They also took help. Granted, they were also really, really busy. Like, they were super strapped for workers because of the market day.
I mean, technically, we also still have some meat we could trade him. It's inside Delaney's hand also, but there's meat. Or I could go hunting again.
Super gross.
Yeah.
You notice, though, that Toshi is already kind of wandering towards the bar because he's like, he just smells food.
Should we worry about that?
These kittens are always hungry.
They're growing kids.
Kittens.
All right, guys. The growing kittens. They need their food.
I'm not a kitten.
How old are you?
Old enough.
Valid question.
Old enough to
Yeah.
not be a kitten.
Then you're a catling.
Catling.
Yeah, it's like between so there's kitten, and then there's the adolescent one, and then there's catling, and then there's cat.
You're a tot baxi, says Villain. Fine, kitten. She walks away. And Villain's like, see? They have to
Well,
choose the
either way
pot.
they grow. They need food. It's fine. I can always go hunt.
Well, wasn't the...
See if
They've
fur-
probably
the
got...
leathers and the furs, though.
They've got, like, beer nuts or something here. That's fine. We can figure it out.
Yeah, usually the breadsticks and pretzels are all free.
You do not want to eat anything that's free and just sitting out on the bar. Trust me.
Depends on if they just poured it into a fresh bowl or not.
Never
Yes,
eat from the
that's-
bottom. Thank you, Dermot.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Much appreciated. I'm excited. Let's find out what's happening.
What have you done?
Mike, if you would like to message me what your request is. Oh, thank you. Okay. Let's put the chat up. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Welcome to my husband's brain, y'all.
Great. Cool. No doubt. All right. So, I have to internalize this. It will happen. Just give me a little bit to internalize this. Thank you, Mike. TBD.
You already made the duck noise.
It's true. Oh my god, maybe it was. Maybe they were summoned by by Toshi's excellent impression.
Oh my god.
I heard your call from across the ether.
All right, so Toshi is wandering towards the bar, and the barkeep, who I put in chat, kind of glances down at the little kitten and has a big old grin on his face. Now, what exactly can I do for you? Because he sounds really young, this Minotaur. Can I, what do you got to eat? There's a menu. You can read it right here. Okay, thank you. He picks it up, starts reading. Oh, what can I get the rest of you?
Well, I guess we need 1, 2, 3 rooms. 2, 1, 3. Help me.
Give us a second.
Somebody help
And
me.
Verlaine turns around and he's like, in your heads, how about just guys and gals? The kids stay with whoever.
The guys, that sounds right.
Okay.
All right,
I'll-
so just 2 rooms then.
Yeah. Me and Harland, and the kids, and Aliebe's Empire. Is that good?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. We need 2 rooms. Okay. I assume you need a bunch of beds. Ideally, yes, thank you. And did you want anything to eat or anything? Sorry. He throws a rag over his shoulder. Welcome to the Dawnshire. I'm Nando. It's nice to meet you all. Now, what can I get you all to drink or eat? You can also just say, we order food.
That.
Before we get too far into that, though, can we ask how much the room costs? I didn't see it on the menu.
Well, that's because that's the food menu. If you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a funny joke? She looks at Oliet.
What?
Oh,
Whatever the room is that includes the Bloody Marys, that's the rooms that we need.
The brunch special.
Yes.
He grins. He grins. He's playing in the space with you. And he says, for the two rooms, I'd say would 2 gold apiece for the night, so 4.
Yeah.
I'll throw in the Bloody Marys.
Could we interest you in not that much
Uh-huh.
money for the rooms? How about? But we have stuff.
Nando leans his big forearms on the bar. What?
We have other stuff.
Okay. What you got?
Just look at Beza.
all right. So I've got a bunch of leather from some of those equestodons. A bunch of feathers from some sort of big bird things back on the mainland. Also meat from both of those things. Also various assortments of horns and a couple of colorful furs that are definitely not from around this area.
Oliet can play,
Well, that's
and
great.
I can
We
wash
also have a-
dishes.
That his ears perk up a little bit at those two. wouldn't say no to a bit of entertainment and some help out back, if that's cool. And Nickit walks up to the bar and is like, "We also have and they reach into their bag and pull out a glass. Harlan, you definitely know that was from the last tavern. There's a bowl that used to have beer nuts, definitely from the last tavern. There's 2 sets of silverware, definitely from the last tavern. That's those are nice. We've got our own though. But thank you." Oh, okay. She starts putting them back in their bag. And Verlaine's like, in all of your heads, Verlaine's just like, "I'd be angry if I wasn't so proud."
Should we be encouraging this behavior? 'Cause, I mean,
I'm-
they are developing kittens.
I'm saying nothing. I'm not encouraging. I mean, I'm not discouraging, but I'm not encouraging.
Right. I think they should continue to develop their skills. How about that?
Exactly. It's important to practice.
Yeah, I think they are.
Also, in the grand scheme of things, stealing some silverware in a bowl from a tavern is a lot better practice than some of the other things they could go after.
Yeah. They could
Like a knife.
victimize poor produce shoppers. Verlaine reaches over and kind of like turns Nickit away from the bar, and you hear him mutter to Nickit, "Now, usually when you're offloading goods, you want to make sure you're like more than 3 blocks away from the place you took it from." So she's like, "Yeah, but like you needed it." No, appreciate the sentiment, but yeah. He kind of walks Nickit away.
Fence does not mean just over it.
Good lesson from Harlan. The more you steal. So Nando agrees to the terms of Harlan helping out a little bit, and Oliette performing, and that would pay for your night's lodgings.
No good in the kitchen or anything, but I can carry stuff back and forth.
Great.
I'm really good at dodging legs.
Or, I mean, I'd do it myself, but I gotta sort of be at the front. So if you don't mind, we're running a little low on one of our meads, so we need the new barrel put in. And he'll take the rag off his shoulder and kind of, he's wiping his hands off. I'll show you in the back. And Nando takes you all back, or at least takes Harlan and Beza back, and shows you where the barrels are. There's big racks of them. And they're labeled pretty clearly. So he points at the one that is low and says, "All right, so you gotta replace the Odin with the other Odin over there. Okay?" And it's a little finicky. You gotta watch the twisty. I don't know the word for it.
The tap?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So yeah, you just move it over there, and I'm sorry. What were your names?
I'm Beza.
Beza and
Harlan Firebranch at your service.
Harlan Firebranch at my service. Okay.
Why
Great.
does everybody care? That's a pleasantry. My name is Harlan Firebranch.
I understand. I was teasing. Sorry, we just met. Sorry. Okay. And Nando just like basically pats you on the shoulder like we're good. Everything's good. And he points over at basically where there is a deep sink with a lot of sort of drying pots and stuff. That's the main, the main workload.
I can do dishes.
Oh, great. Well, let's say, if you're willing to put in say an hour, total over tonight, you can have your room.
Done.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
I appreciate that. Welcome to the Dawnshire. He kind of backs up into the doorway, back into the main room. So, go ahead. As he leaves you on the back room.
Establishment you have here.
Thank you. Not mine, but thank you.
Would it be all right if the kittens have their food now? They're kind of hungry.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. I'll get them set up. Do they eat meat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll figure something out. Okay. And,
They'll eat some vegetables too. Do you need meat? I have meat.
I guess. Seems like a weird request, BYOM.
Looks at the leg. You're the one carrying it.
I am, unfortunately, well aware. Thank you. And he opens his hand, palm up, and there's just and Nando looks very confused. And just okay. And he grabs a piece of butcher paper and then just takes it out so that there's butcher paper under his hand. And yeah, he basically just makes fajitas. Lots of vegetables and the meat. And he put it together. So yeah, you all would get that. He'd just make a bunch of that. Does a pretty decent job seasoning it. And yeah, so you guys got food. But as he comes out with the food, hands it to the kittens. The kittens are just fucking gangbusters for it. Nando goes back behind the bar and looks for you, Oliette.
Oh, okay. Well.
Is it okay that you play up? I mean,
Yeah,
a half set would be
why
fine.
Why not? No, sure, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a weird day. I'm sorry. It's been a weird day.
Sure, market day's pretty busy. Lots of people running around.
Yes. That is an excellent and the exact reason. So yes.
He doesn't question it. He's too busy today.
Yeah, Gosh. Are there a lot of people in here right now?
Not yet. Nando does say, I mean, you'd probably get better tips if you waited a couple hours.
Oh my god, tips. I forgot that exists.
Yeah.
I got you.
You haven't performed anywhere.
How long have you been a performer?
It's kind of a jack of all trades situation.
Most bards are, yeah.
Yes. It's been a while. We've been on the road for a long time, and it's just been a while since there's been an establishment worthy of my gift. So.
Very pleased to provide the inspiration you require.
Of course. Yes.
I am so sorry. What's your name? I didn't catch it.
Oliette.
Hi, Nando.
Hi, Nando.
So yeah, if you just wait a couple hours.
Is there a thing where it's the musicians' drinks around the house, or I don't want to be weird, but how does it work here? Because that's how it works where I come from. I don't want to make any assumptions.
I did include the Bloody Marys in with your room and board, so.
Wonderful. I'll take one right now. Thank you, Nando.
Yeah, sure thing. You want a normal one, or do you want a Nando special?
I feel inclined to opt for the latter, just because.
Good choice. And he puts one together that has There is a bacon straw. It's just hay. There's one sprig of hay just for garnish. In the bacon straw.
I'll very politely leave it in there.
Yeah. And then there's also he puts a little splash of. You watch him like slice up what looked like the bell tree fruit, the pear. And he slices some of it up and he kind of like lines a little bit of the rim of the glass with them and hands that to you.
All right.
Cheers.
I don't, yeah, thank you. Yes.
Yeah. He reaches over and just clink flicks the glass.
Okay.
There you go. And yeah, the bell fruit is kind of like a tart apple flavor, but with the consistency of a really good pear, not like mealy or anything, just like soft, but got a nice little tartness to it. And yeah, there's also a interesting scent on top of it, like he grated something. It kind of looked like an avocado pit. He kind of grated it onto the top of the drink. You get the sense that might have been the core of the bell fruit. And it has just like a little bit of another tartness to it, which is just another little added flavor dimension to the drink. And yeah, so Nando gives you a drink. You know that Beza and Harland are in the back. I think Paru would help too. We're just going to T-pose her, helping out in the back. And you see over at one of the booths, Nickit and Toshi on one side of... Or actually, Toshi on one side of the booth, Villain on the other, and Nickit is next to Villain. And they're all just kind of like eating and talking and stuff. They seem like they're getting along. There's a little like chuckle from Toshi. Villain said something funny apparently. So yeah.
Therapy.
They're his emotional support children. That's not what children are for. We're teaching all sorts of important lessons here at the show, folks. Children are not emotional support pets. You guys do your little work for a while, and you come back out, and Oliette, you have probably been served your second Bloody Mary. They're pretty big. They're in kind of like glass steins. They're pretty substantial. They're not like super generous pours, but like there's a lot of it. So yeah, it does end up like factoring into being like maybe go to the bathroom before you go on stage because you've been drinking a lot. You guys head back out to the. We'll say that Paru. I'm just gonna say Paru's being super helpful and trying to cook a little bit of vegan food and non-mushroom based vegan food. And Harlan and Beza, you end up back out in the main room. A couple, like an hour or so later is a little later in the day, and so more people start filtering in. It takes another hour or so for people to be basically like getting off work and finding their way into the tavern. You see a lot of just average looking people. It's a very quiet, homey kind of place.
If he puts food in front of Beza after she sits down with everyone, she pushes it in front of the kitten.
You're my favorite. Toshi just starts eating. Villain's like, thanks. Thanks.
That's just because I don't have to eat.
I know. And so yeah, you basically like Harlan, you push a little table across like next to the booth, so there's room for everybody to sit. And eventually it gets a little louder, not rowdy. This is definitely like a hometown bar, where people come after a long day of work and they're just looking for a nice, homey. I said the word home way too much, but yeah, it's not like a rowdy bar. What do you do, Oliette, when it's a couple hours in? It's a bit busy.
Yeah, I guess if it starts to pick up, I will. I don't suppose there's a proper stage. So
There's there's a little bit of a stage.
a little.
It's a little
like this high
it's
up
like
off the
half a
ground,
foot
yeah.
up, half a foot up.
That's all.
There's a bench and a barrel and it's pretty basic.
Beautiful. I would probably ask Harlan to borrow his hat so I have something to put on the ground in front of me. So yeah, I'll borrow that, and I don't really know how this is gonna go because
Play the Dragonborn comes.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so here's...
Free Aarakocra.
Oh my god. Yeah, I guess I'm going to... I had a story that I thought of last time that I guess I technically haven't used yet.
Okay.
It might not do very much in this scenario, but that's fine. I'm gonna tell it anyway. So, I will put the hat down in front of me, and I will put my drum on the ground in front of me, and I'm trying to read this crowd. If they're not super rowdy,
They're
I
not.
won't do too slutty of a dance, but I might just sit in different positions as I tell this story on this bench, kind of trying to keep my pose dynamic. And I will summon my mage hand and have it start playing the drums while I'm telling the story. And essentially, the story is of this angel, the first angel ever, who was made of every star that's ever existed. And this angel realized that although her immediate vicinity was bright, there was darkness everywhere that she wasn't. And realizing that in order to spread the light and the joy as far as she possibly could, she would have to give something up. And so, one star at a time, she carefully began spreading her light across the skies until there was enough for everybody and enough to go around. But unfortunately, as she was displacing the last of those stars, she realized that very soon there would be nothing left of herself. So, she took the best and brightest and most important star and put it in a very special place in the safekeeping of a very special person who was instructed, when the time was right, when the star was ready to shine on its own, to release this star into the night. And this would be the traveling star. And I will tell this story. It goes on for a little while longer. And towards the very end, I will drop the mage hand and then just cast dancing lights and have them scatter above me in kind of like a whitish yellow, kind of starry color.
Awesome. Yeah, give me a performance check with advantage for that.
Ooh, 21.
21. All right. So, Oliette, you take your time with the story in such a way that it catches a few more people as they come in. You manage to actually start with a group freshly coming in. Waiting on the bar, so they're actually just watching your performance while they're waiting, and when you're done, you get there were probably maybe there might have been 15, 20 people in the bar, and you get a pretty impressed round of applause from the people at the bar. You do see that a few people come up pretty quickly. One person came up while you were performing and dropped a couple coins in. And then the rest of them waited till you were done. They're, I would say, 21. You earn... yeah. You earn 10 gold.
Oh, I'm double digits, baby.
I think you're now officially the richest one out of all of us.
Hey! No one's ever had money in this game. You've always relied on the kindness of NPCs.
And trading.
And trade.
Nice.
So yeah.
Also, if there was anybody in the crowd that looked particularly haggard or tired or a little run down from the day,
Yeah.
they get some hit points. So
Aw.
I'm gonna just hand wave that they suddenly feel much better and rejuvenated.
I would say when you finish your performance, the mood in the bar lifts a little bit. It's a little more lively when you step down because people are clapping and they're looking pretty entertained as you leave. There's a couple of people that just like smile and like give you a good clap. You get handed a coin by an older gentleman who couldn't really get up. So he makes sure you see him. He kind of like waves you down and hands you the coin. But like overall, yeah, like a mix of silver and gold all kind of add up together to be about 10. If you're willing to perform again, it's up to you. If you want to do anything else other than just that piece, 10 is a lot. So I would say either you had a real good time for your first performance, or you might have played one other time and just all kind of added together. Because they're
tell your friends.
Yeah.
And
tell
I'll
them.
perform again tomorrow.
Okay, I was gonna say tell them what. Come to this bar and that there was a good bard there.
Yeah, you tell me.
Gotcha. So yeah, you.
Oh my gosh, Carlin, your hat is this is a lucky hat. I get it now. Like it's taken me a while to adapt to the aesthetic, but I get it now.
I see your value now, hat.
Does that count as the hotness increase?
Yes, the hotness increased when it got Oliet paid.
What was that? They appreciate you too.
What?
Toshi. Does the hat talk to him? Nick is just like, oh my god. You're gonna die at a very young age in a very inopportune situation. Toshi, you gotta learn how to be a little more discerning with stories people tell you.
It's because I got these big ears. I'm the only one that can hear it.
He looks up, he's like, I got big ears.
Yeah, but it's right next to mine.
Oh.
Here, you try.
God.
He puts it on.
Big hat.
And,
He doesn't see. He doesn't even. He doesn't even see you. It just goes over his head.
Cast prestidigitation and makes like little whisper sounds. Kind of appear.
The hat kind of perks up as his ears go up. I think I heard the ocean.
Yeah, that is what they sound like. That is true.
Wow.
Interesting too.
Verlaine reaches forward and plops the hat off and puts it back on Harlan. So, you all settle in, get some decent food, and chill at the bar. Is there anything you want to do or talk to people or anything like that while you're here? You got a couple hours probably. Well, you have a lot of hours. It's not even nearly nighttime yet. It's late afternoon, but It's like after work, so yeah, it's like 6 o'clock.
Happy hour.
It's like, yeah, it's 6 o'clock.
Well, we have to get Harlan to Bloody Mary. We have to introduce the two.
Nando will get him a Harlan special. Well, he gets them both. He gets him a Harlan special and a regular one. You got to start with the basics till you can appreciate the nuance.
There's a Harlan special?
What did I say? I meant Nando. He calls it a Harlan special just to make you feel special. This is the Harlan
It'll make me
special.
blush.
This is the Harlan special, and this is the Nando special. So start with that one and then do mine.
Well, all right.
The Harlan special is just the regular Bloody Mary. Harlan, it is like drinking alcoholic tomato soup.
So good. Right?
It's not what you would expect from a drink. A lot of drinks are like kind of fruity or like on the citrus side of the scale. This is a very umami sort
What
of.
about Juno?
An olive.
I couldn't
Here's
place
the
it. Yes.
beauty of the Bloody Mary, Harlan. It is both food and a drink. All you need is everything you need is in this cup.
You know, I think I think that the Reclamation Center could have done much better if they had these
they-
instead of whatever drink option 1 was.
Drink. Just drink.
Drink.
I mean, you know, there was one year where it was kind of like a Bloody Mary, except it was potato. So like a pre-vodka drink.
Okay. Okay.
You know, I like regret it even as it came out of my mouth. I said that too when I had it the first time.
I need another Nando special.
Yeah, Harlan slides the Nando like over to Valane.
Thanks.
I'll have another
I'm literally
water bottle.
imagining like the water you pour out after you make potatoes, like after you boil them.
No, I was imagining more like, yeah, kind of that, but still with some potato left in it.
So what you put into pasta water?
Yeah.
Or no, what you put into like sauces.
Potato drink.
Not to get too bad with it, but I mean, you could get the regular or you could get the sour cream and chive version.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Y'all got any of those fully loaded drinks?
Hey, a little bacon on the top as a garnish. It's great.
I
Honestly,
don't know if they had
honestly,
all dressed.
it's just soup in a glass. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with that inherently.
Yeah.
It's just potato and leek. That's all it is. They didn't understand the difference between. I mean, it's liquid, right? I should have had that. It was solid and liquid. Those were your food options. They didn't really differentiate between beverage and soup. It just was the liquid part of the meal. 2 food groups, solid and liquid. So you all are sitting there. The kids seem to be having a decent time. Toshi keeps kind of. He's not a kid. They're like young teenagers. Like Nicket's maybe 15 and Toshi's probably between 12 and like he's 12ish probably. 12, 13. But he keeps kind of like kneeling on the booth and kind of like glancing around. Like just people watching. And yeah, so you have a pretty calm evening.
I might ask Nando how long he's been working here. He seems like he doesn't always. He seems new, so I don't know.
Seems new, yeah. So yeah, you at some point sidle up to the bar to get another drink, and Nando's there, and he's just passed a few things over, and he's like, "Oh, hey, Elliot, what can I get you?" I mean, I can guess what I can get you, but
Yeah, I mean, you might as well get started now. 'Cause,
yeah. I'll work on it.
No, how long have you been working here?
Well, about a year.
Okay.
I mean, you mean like here at the Dawnshire or like here at the bar?
Well, hey, how about both answers if they're different?
Year at the Dawnshire, like a month at the bar.
Okay, that does explain some things. The people that live around here,
Yeah.
is it, um, how much do people know each other here? Is this kind of a situation where people tend to keep to themselves, or is
No,
this
there's no.
a
It's
neighborly?
yeah, yeah.
Or,
Well, I mean, that's before my time, but yeah, a lot of people kind of bonded when they first got here. There's a lot of community events and stuff. The town council tries to put events together, keep sort of. I mean, they used to call them morale boosting, but I think it's more just, keeping people in touch. Seems kind of like important to a lot of folks. A lot of the longer lived folks.
gotcha. Okay. You were born here? Have you ever left this place?
I mean, I've been all over Mythgar, sure. It's not that big a place.
Sure.
I went to school on the north side of the island, and then I came back here. But my folks, yeah, I was born here.
See. Okay.
You gather that he's probably early 20s,
Yeah.
at least
Okay.
whatever the equivalent of a minotaur would be. That I don't
Sure.
remember what the minotaur sort of life cycle is.
Well, actually, Minotaur live for it. No.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, great. Yeah, I will just take my drink and go.
Yeah, no problem. And he goes back to work.
Nando, I do have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have any toiletry kits?
Toiletry kits.
Like, what's the shower situation?
I mean, we have showers.
Are they in the rooms, or is it like the down the hall type of thing?
Down the hall type of thing. Don't have a lot of people stay here, so it was a lot of expensive to have plumbing in all the rooms. But it's not like pipe. It's a little fancier than that. It's the arcane tubs. Pretty cool.
Arcane tubs.
Yeah. They make the water, and then they make the water go away.
How many how many floors is this place?
2. It's the tavern, and then upstairs there's a few rooms.
Got it. So this is like, in terms of the inn part of this, it's fairly small.
Yes, you were under the impression from Olvar that the Beltree was like pretty much an inn exclusively. This place is more of a tavern that has a couple rooms. And since they're right across from the Beltree, you probably can assume why they probably don't get a lot of people staying here.
Okay, well then I'm double glad that we stayed here.
You got him some business. I mean, Beltree's small business too, but yes, smaller business.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, he goes, yeah, there's somebody in Mythgar must have made a mint coming up with the tubs. But yeah, it makes it a lot easier to make up a house and stuff. You got the money for it. You can pretty much set up anywhere. You don't have to worry about a well or anything.
Smart.
I would have said, sorry, I didn't think about this. You would have noticed that was also how the sinks worked. The sink basically had a like handle that would create water, and then when you were done, it would cast destroy water, and it would.
Oh my god, that's like a Kohler. You just like wave your hand under it.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's my favorite thing I've ever made up in D&D.
The gelatinous cube garbage disposal.
I didn't make that up though.
So these tubs, how big are they?
People size. I could be in one comfortably.
Okay, could 2 of you be in one?
2 of me?
Or let's say you had a slightly shorter in stature and completely adorable companion, would that companion fit in the tub with you?
So what you're
Perhaps.
asking is Nando a wingman? Um, actually,
I'm just trying to save water. I'm trying to conserve.
You mean the spontaneously created water?
Yes. Don't think too hard on it, Nando.
He looks at you, and he kind of glances over at Harland, then glances back at you. Me and a slightly smaller me would probably fit in the tub.
You know, Harland, I do happen to have, as luck would have it, this bar of soap. Untouched. If you needed some help.
I mean...
Okay.
Nando goes, Oliette, if you didn't mind doing another performance, could definitely use that. If it'll get busier later. Just for the anyway. Basically, he's like, if you're gonna take up the bathroom for an extended period of time, please pay more. He's trying really hard to
I've
be
already
like...
pulled my drum out and I'm walking up to the stage.
Okay, great. Enjoy the tub. Yeah. Anyway. And...
Real nice for the offer of fresh bar soap.
How did this man have 2 fan clubs? Rather, no, we understand. Anyway, I mean, we never claimed this was a kid-friendly stream. Anyway, so so yeah, you perform again. You don't have to like narrate if you don't want to. So you perform again and give me another performance check.
Hell yeah.
See if you earn any more significant.
22.
22. Well,
Plus 7.
well, I hate to tell you that the money is based off a roll though, so so it might be less than what you had before. That is... Wow, goddamn, you did real well. Someone came in that had just scored big at the market or something, and you in total earn another 10 gold.
Fucking Daddy Warbucks over here?
Ollie, it's
I don't
like,
even
that's
know.
so many Bloody Marys. Nando, can create or destroy water create Bloody Mary?
Oh my god, I need an alchemy jug.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You might get mayonnaise out of
I
that.
think that's a jug of alcoholism.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah. I'm just gonna get my little out of order sign from Nando. After my show's done.
There's okay. Yeah. He's just resigned to this now. Fine. As when he basically tells you about he tells you that so there's a deadbolt in the inside of the door. You just lock it and yeah. And just before you walk away, he's like, "Oh yeah."
Is that a fist bump?
Yes.
I've had like 8 Bloody Marys at this point. I'll take it.
And so yeah, Nando.
Left. The crocker.
Yeah, when you give him the fist bump, he glances over towards Harland and just says to you very quietly, "Good pull, nice." And goes back to work. So, later that evening, Paru and Beza, you and Oliette get your room. It's again very cozy. It's one of those that's got like 2 queens in it or something, or at least maybe like a bunk and a queen. Same thing with the other room. The kids take the bunks. And Villain and Harlan, you guys go into the room with the kids, and you just like kind of throw your stuff down. Toshi is still reading the food menu from downstairs, and he's like circling stuff.
Oh my god.
So like tomorrow I'm gonna try this one. Naked, I wanna try this one. It puts the menu up on the... Fine, just get what you want. Oh my god, you don't need permission.
Never take this child to the Cheesecake Factory.
Never,
Oh my
ever.
God.
You'll never leave, and you'll have one of those potbelly kittens.
Oh, it's okay. Let him be puppy.
And so you get all set up for the evening. It is entirely up to you guys to pan to the fireplace or to talk if you want about the tub situation.
I mean, I don't know if I have any. I would really just just see before we all retire. Just see whenever Harlan's ready for a bath.
Oh. Now, I was under the impression that you would loan me the soap.
In a way. Oh, is it not interesting to you unless it's out in the open on a beach for everybody to see, or?
I beg you. What?
Listen, it's up to you. No pressure. I'll stand guard outside if you want. I just figured you could use a hand.
Well,
Or two.
the sign says it's out of order, so I was a little bit concerned that that was that it wasn't in fact working.
Yeah, just go in there. Just go in.
All right. I need help with my back if that's all right with you.
And I'm just nodding, locking the door. I'm gonna hang the sign and then lock the door.
Harlan, as you open the door, you see that the tub is already full and there is a duck floating in it. There is a duck with a turtle shell on it. Just... I can't do it. There, I can kind of do it. There's just a duck. Like...
Wait, do I see the duck? Or
You
I
do
don't
not see the duck. Harlan sees the duck.
Oh, it must be one of those mechanical
It's about this
toy
big.
things.
It looks up at you.
I beg your pardon?
I didn't say anything.
Harlan, give me a history check. I don't know. I don't know what this is gonna
alright.
be.
It's
I
not
need a
gonna be
childhood
great.
memories check.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Delve into your mind palace check.
How about a 3?
Harlan, something pings in your head, like a deja vu, but you don't know why. The image of a turtle duck in the tub. You also see that there's a pail next to the tub, an empty pail, like a little metal bucket.
Well, thanks for filling the tub for us. I think that
It's like sputtering water, which Oliette you do not see. with its tail. It's like super excited, and it's like on the edge of the tub, and it's just like.
Oh,
On the edge of the tub.
and Harlan will reach down and like hold his hand out.
And it's like a full size duck.
Oh, okay. Both hands out.
Yeah, and the duck just kind of waddles into your hand, and is just like, I can't fucking do a duck today.
Shug, you seeing this? This is the
First of all,
I-
heart aflutter at calling her Shug, but continue. Sorry.
You only had one Bloody Mary, right?
yeah, and it wasn't that great, even though it was named after myself.
Okay.
Mhm.
Are you feeling okay?
I feel just fine. There's a duck.
I pray that that's a euphemism of some kind.
It's right here. There's in my hands.
It's a turtle duck,
Do you-
Harland. It's a turtle duck.
It's a turtle duck.
Okay.
One of those adorable little critters that's got, like a tortoise shell on the back, and is also a duck.
Out of character, those aren't real, right? Does that exist in this world? Is that a common
Not
animal?
not in like okay, so you've seen weird animals outside the chronograms. It's possible that exists. It also is completely possible that Harlan has seen one in the book. But other than that, no, you've never heard of a turtle duck before.
Okay. Harlan. This is very cute. How about I'm just gonna, obviously I don't see this duck, so just pantomime that I'm picking it up, although I'm sure I'm not making contact.
Oh no, like Harlan's still holding it and only at like kind of like puts
Put it down.
puts her head or puts her hands where its head is, and it like ducks. It ducks because it's a duck. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, how about we just put the duck down? For now.
I beg your pardon, but I am otherwise occupied this evening. This evening. This evening.
The duck looks at Oliette and goes,
Well, that was unnecessary.
I'm trying to think of the worst behaviors I've ever seen a duck have. And hissing is one of those things. Yeah. But it's little, it has like little almost like turtley floppy feet and like 4 legs. And it's kind of against your hands. Mike, this is the best thing you've ever done to me.
Why can't I see it?
I know.
I've never been quack blocked before.
Oh my god.
Man, let me tell you, if I had known this before the session, Quack Blocked would have been the name of the episode. Maybe we'll do that next time. So what do you do, Harlan? The duck is just kind of hanging out in your hands.
Things are about to get, I imagine, much steamier in here than they are currently. So I would advise that you.
I was sort of
Not.
hoping he was going to say soapy, but whatever, it's fine.
I thought we were gonna go sudsy.
So the duck's just like. This is like the least realistic duck. It's just Donald. That's all it is. Just a nonverbal Donald, who's already almost nonverbal.
I was like on the cusp already.
Okay, my room is the second one down on the left-hand side. You have to watch out for the one that may or may not have the arm on him at the time. But if you want to hang out in there, I'm sure I will see you at a later point, possibly tomorrow.
It's trying to wriggle out of your hands.
Oh, there you go. All right, and he sets the duck down.
The duck waddles over to the bucket, and like looks inside it. It's empty, and it looks up at you.
Do you want me to fill it? Do you want me to fill the bucket?
Yes, that's why we're in here.
Anyway, so what do you do, Harlan? What do you do?
So yeah, Harlan will like pick up the bucket and like.
Oh yeah,
into
you
the
watch
bathroom.
him mime picking up a bucket. He's just got to do some object work first. Just gotta be patient.
He's in the mood, I guess.
So Harlan, you scoop up a little bit of water and you put it on the ground.
Yep.
And the
put the bucket down.
and the duck, with a remarkable amount of strength, picks it up, starts waddling out of the bathroom. This is the perfect music for this. Oh my god!
Unlock the door and just
Um,
like be looking at the ground and open the door and let the turtle duck out.
Okay. And he waddles out.
No, not that one. The next door. Yeah, right. The Harlan will close and lock the door. I'd say that I've seen weird stuff, but this. You're gonna have to get used to it if you're gonna hang out with me.
Do you mind if I ask? I mean, who are you talking to?
It was a duck that seemed oddly familiar, but I just couldn't quite place it. It's a duck that is also a turtle. Got a bucket. And it was very good at carrying that bucket.
2% less. Oh yeah,
See?
Literally, like
2% less
sound of
strength.
silence just starts playing in my head. You know what I mean? Like just happening.
Oh god, Harlan, my boyfriend.
Yeah,
He's lost his mind again.
this is fine. Whatever.
Or he's gone and lost his mind again. There we go.
Sees a vision softly quaking.
Sad because he is quack blocking. I don't know. It doesn't really work. Anyway. So, you lock the door, and probably empty and refill the tub. Just maybe for Harlan's comfort. Just like,
I don't. If you insist. Shit.
There
Is
was
there
a-
anything in the water?
not that you can see, but I mean, there was a duck in the water. They poop in lakes.
Doesn't mean the duck-
Harlan,
I mean,
you don't know.
yeah, okay. He drained the tub and then like, can I have the soap?
Weird.
No,
Fast.
Don't
Okay.
worry, don't
To
worry
be-
about it. And he put the soap down at the bottom of the tub and then turn the hot water back on.
So it like immediately just like very quickly creates the water. It only takes 6 seconds to fill the tub.
Now, part of the fun is letting the bubbles form. Now, that was just disappointing.
So yeah, you you have a bath. It's scene. Pan to the faucet. So,
It's all steamy.
yeah. So the evening continues. Eventually, I assume that Oliet and Holland go into the separate bedrooms.
That was the plan, yes.
Yeah. You only had the two. The bathroom was not included in your room and board. So Harlan, as you go into the other room, you kind of like you try to quietly get in.
If it's been a while and like
I assume.
knowingly
It's like, that's
they
up to
all
you
went
guys.
to bed a bit ago, then yeah, he'd be.
Yeah,
he'd be
how
totally
long-
quiet.
Ben Harlan, why don't you tell us? How long?
Oh, are we doing those rolls again? We can do those rolls again. It's what is it? Hold on. It's a couple of rolls. It's
Tessa's
hold
not
on.
here. She
No,
would know what it was.
it's Constitution, and I guess it's up to you. Acrobatics or athletics, whichever you want.
Yep. it
And
was.
performance. That was also performance.
Yep.
So
let's do
let's
rolls
start.
here.
Okay, so let's start with Constitution.
Okay.
This is happening now. You make a joke about it, it happens. How'd you do?
A nat 20.
Okay. All right. So it has been a while. Go ahead and athletics or acrobatics, whichever you would like to use.
Acrobatics is his better stats. So I'll do that.
Okay. Okay.
Weirdly enough,
It's about the motion of the ocean.
Yeah.
that's a 14.
So appropriate given the bathtub situation. Okay. And then a performance check for, style points.
Can't take the dismount.
Oh my god!
This is what happens. This is what happens.
And a 10 from the Russian judge.
Puddles the duck just pushes a card underneath the bed.
It's a 16.
Okay. Then, really, the most important aspect of this is it's a while till you didn't know furbolgs could prune, and now you know. That's all I'll say about that. So, I'm not going to make an assumption. So, a while later, I will not put a number on this. I'll leave it to the imagination. And and Harland, it has been a while. So, do you try to quietly
Enter quietly.
Okay. So, you hear that there's not a lot going on downstairs. It's not very loud. It is late. And you quietly give me a stealth check.
Okay.
You quietly give me a stealth check.
I don't think that's very good. That's a total of 11.
11. So yeah, you just the door sticks just a little bit, so there's a little bit of a as you open, door sticks, and you hear a. And nestled in your bed is the turtle duck. The bucket's on the floor. You gotta watch your step because it is full of water. And you hear a little rustling from the bunk beds, and Nickit is on the top bunk. Their arm is sort of draped down, and you see Verlaine tucked against the wall on the bottom bunk, and Toshi is kind of like curled in next to him.
I guess it's just you and me.
Best thing ever. Thank you, Mike.
Do you want big spoon or little spoon? All right. And Harlan gets to the edge of the bed and becomes the little spoon.
I think you just mean there's a duck leaning against you.
There's a duck leaning against his back, yes.
Oh my god. Occasionally you hear like as his wings kind of flutter out.
I love him.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway, so, Oliette, you join Paru and Beza in their room. Probably have your hair up.
Probably in the bunk beds because we're small.
Makes sense.
It was not on top. She doesn't want to fall through the bed and crush Paru.
Also
That's
smart,
that
also
is
fair.
very fair. So, Oliette, if there was a pampering of a day, it's been a weird day, but you needed the pampering. You get the whole bed to yourself, the whole full or queen to yourself. I will say based on the bottom, so on the top bunk, Paru, and you see a little bit of glowing as Button is sort of like a little bellows. And there's a little bit of a glow under his scales as he breathes. And yeah, it's quiet, and you can sort of slip into bed. Does anybody do anything before they go to sleep? Besides
Beza wouldn't
besides
be
the
asleep.
the thing that's already
right?
been done. Yeah, before they take their long rest is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would even have occurred to me to stealth in, so
Yeah, that's fine. Paru's sleeping heavily.
Beza probably like opens her eyes and then a little wave and
Hey.
if you act like you're in the bed, she's not gonna say
Mhm.
anything. She also doesn't want to wake up Paru.
Yeah.
It's like, Olia, give me a shame roll.
I would if I had a stat for that, but
Can I retcon just slightly?
Yeah.
So before, like, of course, Harlan would walk Oliette to the door.
Of course.
And-
They're right next to each other.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's just doing the gentlemanly thing,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know? And we'll just... You need anything?
I don't think I could handle any more of that. To be honest, I'm gonna
I
be
meant more
limping in the
like-
bed as it is.
I
my
meant more
God.
like a
Oh
cookie
my
or-
lord.
Oh,
Cookie. A mint on your pillow.
no, I'm just fucking around. No, I'm good. I'm good. Are you good?
No, that was what you were doing before. No, I want to know where he'd get said cookie. It's what I want to know.
Wherever he needed to.
He would get a freaking cookie.
It just became Harold and Kumar.
So wake that Jack up.
No, Nando, I need a cookie now. Stat. Where's the guest service around here?
Then he would kiss her on the forehead and then step 3 feet to the right.
Go into the other door. There is something so incredibly soft about the idea of, like, whatever just happened and then a kiss on the forehead. That is adorable.
It's very Harlan.
He got nothing to prove. So he's like, whatever.
He already proved it.
Okay, so you're welcome, Lane. So oh, god damn it! Never mind. I know what she was gonna go finish. So you all have your evening. Who's an early? I'm not gonna say early riser. God damn it. Who gets up early? For the morning.
Probably Beza, because she doesn't.
Harlan's a farm boy. Definitely gets up
the same
early.
way as everybody.
Okay, so Beza and Harlan probably the first up. Yeah. So Harlan, you're up. Beza, you're up. Then Paru and Oliette maybe around the same time. If only because getting Button out of the top bunk, probably elaborate project. So make noise and get Oliette's attention. And y'all kind of get ready for the day. I will say that Nickit gets up a little bit after you, Oliette gets out of the room, and like you see them slowly, like trying to very slowly close the door, like quietly. And she kind of just shakes out a little bit and heads towards the bathroom.
Did you remember to take off the?
I literally was just like, did we leave anything incriminating in that bathroom? No, we would have taken the sign down. And everything. Gotta be considerate.
You leave it on Nando's door.
Hey.
Harlan would have taken the time to rinse all the fur out of the tub, just because that just tends to happen.
At
anytime
least
it
the
hits that.
plumbing's not a problem. I've solved the fur bulk problem with drains. You're welcome. So pretty confident you haven't left anything incriminating in the bathroom. Nickit just kind of walks by. She's holding what looks like a toothbrush. You don't know where she got it. Might be from the other tavern. Who knows? That's also a question. It's just, you don't ask questions about where Nika gets things. It's in their name. So yeah. And you see Nickit kind of close the door. And yeah, you then a couple moments later, Verlaine opens the door. Same thing, just really quiet. Closes the door. Morning.
What's up?
Breakfast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Verlaine is kind of rubbing at their eye a little bit, which is in currently. And sort of, you see, every morning you basically see them kind of like flexing their hand to kind of get used to it. And you guys head downstairs. Nando, there's a couple of people in the tavern. You get the sense that people actually come here for breakfast. There's like coffee. Nando has something akin to a like basically a hot dog in a it's like a sausage in a bread thingy, like a
Big in a blanket?
kind of, not bigger though, not like a little hot dog, like a full on hot
It's
dog.
like puka dogs in Hawaii.
Yeah, it's in a full it's been baked in a biscuit. That and some coffee, but it's like a breakfast sausage. It's pretty good.
So, I mean, as we're settling down to breakfast, I assume mostly everybody's here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Toshi's not. He apparently slept in, and Nickit and Verlaine felt like they should let him sleep.
Okay. Yeah, once everybody's kind of seated, I will, so, do you think that if we let Pinball know that we saw his friend, that he would even know who we're talking about?
If he doesn't remember anything for the last 50 years, I mean, why would he? Wouldn't you think he would have told us to come find somebody?
I mean, maybe, but sometimes things like jostle your memory. Like sometimes you just need one tiny little piece of something for it to, open up.
That's actually why I had asked about the embarrassing story, because it might not be something that had been erased, even if the particulars of who it had happened with had been erased.
Not a bad thought.
That was a good idea. Well, I mean, if we're trying to see if we can jog his memory, we could say something in the message to him about, we met someone who remembers you. Olva told us we should ask you about white wine. And see if those two things jog anything for him. I don't know. We only have so many words, so we got to be careful.
And, I mean, he didn't mention white wine at all when we were with him, so that at least would be some sort of indicator that, what we are saying is some level of truth.
We don't say those words in my house. That's fine.
Give me salt sail, give me death. Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad idea. If we could convince Olvar to give us something more specific, that might help.
We could mention that last push into the chronogram right before the bubble pushed everybody out.
I have this weird thought that, like, what if Pinball, before the push, would it be impossible for somebody like that to maybe know something like that was coming and want to stay in? Maybe he didn't want to be out here. Maybe he wanted to forget all of this.
Well, maybe
He just doesn't know that he wanted to forget.
I mean, the slightly softer side of that is that maybe he thought he could be better service for the people still in the chronogram if he was still in the chronogram, even if he couldn't remember.
Or he might not have known that the bubble was going to make everybody forget everything. To be fair, we don't know if it was the bubble or if it's the fog.
That's true.
But
And
you're
if the
right.
fog
I mean,
came later, like Olga said, then it might have been he thought he'd be okay, and he wasn't okay because he could remember and they couldn't remember.
I mean, that tracks. He does think highly of himself, rightfully so.
Yeah, that's true.
you are right. It could just be that he was running away from a bad situation into something that's arguably a little bit more stable.
I don't know if that's even arguably. I mean, they're trying their damnedest to make things stable. That's sort of the point, isn't it? To a fault, even. No pun intended.
You intended that pun. Don't even.
No, I definitely
You
did.
paused.
I did.
I mean, that's true, but you know, something my mom in the Tuscandale, I gotta get used to calling him dad, I guess, but something that they used to tell me about
My heart, somewhere,
Locks on.
my heart has been.
something they used to tell me when we were learning training with fighting is that, you know, it's important to have a really, really strong base. You got to be able to keep yourself in place and stable and not move. But at the same time, it needs to be the kind of stance that can bend and work with you when you're fighting because you can't stay in just one place. And I feel like they went too far in the don't move direction and not enough in the flexible direction.
Faye being
The mechanist authority. Because if you're too rigid and you don't bend, then if someone hits you in the wrong spot, you're going to break your leg. Or in my case, you know, shatter your leg. And whereas you learn how to turn with the blow, you can make it so that your leg doesn't break. And if they're being so rigid that there's no bend, is that why things are leaking?
That they're not
Maybe.
vented things properly.
Something like that.
This is a
I don't
deep.
know enough about magic to know how that works.
This is a rabbit hole of a metaphor.
Yeah.
Effective.
All I'm saying is that we should consider that any information that we're supposed to be gathering might ultimately be upsetting. I realize that Pinball's very smart and he knows what he's asking for, but alternatively, he actually literally does not know what he's asking for. So we should just be cognizant of that.
Well, nothing's saying that we have to call them right now. We can call them towards the end of the day if we discover something else that might give us additional insight. Then, you know, that can influence what we say to him, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we should, maybe we should make it a practice to call Pinball at the end of the day, unless there's an emergency.
Give him a rundown of what happened. Can you do that in 25 words?
Oh, I can.
I believe it.
I usually don't need very many words to communicate what I need to communicate. I kind of tend to wax eloquent for the sake of others in the room.
We appreciate it.
And you all hear in your head, well, speaking of using few words to communicate something, do we want to, you know, we were talking about it the other day, but do we want to talk about maybe, well, I realized that this might have been a conversation from last week, Chris. We talked about maybe if Her Majesty of the Word can read everything that's written in the book, and Her Majesty of Beauty is responsible for the illustrations, maybe something drawn in the book could communicate to her and bypass if we're concerned about trying to get something out to them.
Maybe.
Something simple, something not.
Do we have any concrete reason to believe that that's a safer form of communication?
Other than what you know about the book and how your queen operates. You had rolled that night. I think this was two episodes ago. You had seemed, based on a roll, relatively confident that the way that Her Majesty of the Trade communicates, the way she interacts with books, has more to do with traveling the world inside it rather than the meta of the text or the illustration. Had more to do with actually reaching in, like traveling within the world of the book. So
Okay.
You're pretty certain from the time you spent with Her Majesty of the Word that she is the sole recipient of the text, and by that logic, it stands to reason possibly that Her Majesty of Beauty is the only recipient of the drawings in the book.
Okay.
Like they're sort of meta aware of what is being done to the book.
I think
I mean, we can still sit on it. I wasn't trying to push the point.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I
we
just-
got other things going, but
I don't think there's any secure way to do it other than face to face.
yeah.
I don't know what that means. The last time I asked to come home, I was denied. So I don't really know what it's going to take, but I think requesting a meeting is our best bet.
Well, we could draw
I,
something simple that
I'm gonna take a walk. If you guys want to keep
Okay.
talking about it, I need
Okay.
to. Yeah.
Yep.
And Nickett watches Verlaine leave, and then she kind of they get up and follow Verlaine out. He just
Nick,
yeah. What?
if he starts to choke, you come in and you let us know.
Okay. Yeah. Nickett looks actually like a little like anxious, but nods. And she ducks out.
I think that we might be able to, draw something simple that Her Majesty of Beauty might respond to. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of spitballing here. That if we draw like, say, a turtle duck, and see how Her Majesty of Beauty reacts to it.
From under the table, Harland.
Yes, I was talking about you. Have I remembered anything after sleeping?
Give me another history check.
Okay.
Beza looks under the table.
Nope. Not a thing.
No.
Not even the bucket.
Anything he's doing.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. The bucket spills a little as you kind of you look under to see the duck, and you kind of accidentally kick the bucket a little bit, and some water sloshes out of it, and a puddle ends up on the ground. Puddles! Oh my god! And you suddenly remember a story that your mama told you, that when you were little, you had an imaginary friend named Puddles. A little turtle duck that would carry around his own bucket of water, and you went on all sorts of adventures on the farm, and just at some point you stopped thinking
It's
about
Calvin and Hobbes, but it's Harlan and Puddle.
I want that art style, please.
Oh my god.
Except Harlan's the Hobbs height,
The tall one, yeah.
and there's a little turtle duck.
Whose feathers are just like ruffled up.
Yeah. He doesn't pee on anything. He just dumps the bucket on things. So anyway.
Consider it.
Puddles?
Like that little like dancing duck movement.
Oh yes, breadcrumbs.
and there's just like a tail wag, and Puddle's just kind of like there's just a beak nestling against your leg. It's very cute.
You okay there, Harland?
Are you feeling okay?
Are you crying?
It seems that my imaginary friend from my childhood has come to life unexpectedly.
To be fair, Oliette, weird shit happens around you all. Just
I
saying.
don't love the timing of this.
Yes, being quack blocked is not a good feeling. Almost quack blocked.
Like,
I hate to burst your bubble, Harlan, but there's nothing under the table.
That you could see part of imaginary friend, don't you understand?
All of it.
wow.
I've never had one. I don't even know what that is. I mean,
Okay, so think of like I don't know. Think of a tiny critter that you would never hunt, right? And now give it a name, and now give it a personality, and then just talk to it and do stuff with it. And it's something that kids do. It's something that little kids do, and that's
but it's invisible?
it's imaginary.
Paru brings up the
Overlords.
fact that it's like, I mean, the Baba Yaga is invisible, as far as I can tell.
So it's a hallucination?
No. Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, it might be a hallucination, but I mean, it's a hallucination that's touching me right now. Splash some water on my feet from its bucket.
There is something so beautiful about Harlan's accent saying the word bucket. I don't know what it is. His bucket.
Oh, Nando, I'm gonna need like 5 more.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
One after the other,
Sure.
please.
The flight, then.
Yes.
Okay. The flight just is a line of the full glasses.
Beautiful.
Well, do you want up where you used to go? Want up in your old spot? All right. So, Harland will. So people, this is what people see.
Oh, God. Oh, no. This is miming. Okay. So, picking up.
Stop it right
Picking
now.
up the duck. Okay. Picking up the duck.
Oh,
Oh, yep.
no.
Yep. That is.
And
What do you hang it by?
That's
Oh,
beautiful.
the overalls. The bucket. Okay, the clip on the overalls.
Oh,
Okay. Oh, you're getting splashed, Harlan. There's.
Nope.
That's a dangerous maneuver with that bucket. Scooting in on a wheelie chair. It's a dangerous proposition.
I imagine the chair was a wheelie.
So what you're telling me, Kyle, is that Harland is the priest and firebringer. Duck is Lord. The duck on his head? Is that what's happening right now? Duck is friend. Duck is friend.
I have no idea, but it sounds hilarious.
It's very good. Anyway.
does this mean I shouldn't hunt any more ducks?
No. So, when was the last time you saw, what did you call this friend?
Puddles.
Puddles. When was the last time you saw Puddles?
Yeah, it was my 6th birthday.
Do you see puddles whenever big things happen in your life?
Oh
Does that
god,
happen?
Leah's just psychoanalyzing him. Is this a trauma response, Harlan?
I'm gonna get the
No.
answers before I let my ego bleed out.
It's
okay?
like, excuse me, was bathtub fooling around traumatic for you, Harlan?
All I'm saying is this is the first time we've seen fucking puddles. Now all of a sudden, a girl has to wonder.
No, Puddles was involved in pretty much every aspect of my life up until my 6th birthday.
Oh,
So what happened on your 6th birthday, Harlan? Let's unpack that.
He
No one
took his
said that.
bucket and
Villain's on
wandered
here.
off.
that's true.
Just wandered off into the sunset with your bucket.
Yeah, he just took his bucket and left.
Oh,
Oh,
so sad.
okay.
You just hear a "aw" from Paru.
Of course. Okay. Yeah, that's all right. Well. Okay. Is it like a 6-year stint every time? Are we gonna have Puddles as one of the gang for the next 6 years, or
I
do
mean,
you think Puddles knows when you're ready for Puddles to go?
Puddles is their own person. Puddles is their own. They got their own brain. They are a fully emancipated turtle duck. It's
Yeah.
they know what they. He knows what's going on. He talks to me, but he doesn't tell me much.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
he came to help you get through all the confusing stuff that we're dealing with right now.
I don't know. His presence is pretty confusing.
Well, you
Yep.
know, that's Stranger Things. Oh, do you ever find those lumps?
While you all were talking and not looking out the window, the 4 flumps floated by, but you didn't notice them.
Part of the now.
You all hear the door open, and Nando's just like, "Oh, hey, Lionel." And then just comes in and he feeds more fans. "Oh, hey, Lucretia. Hey, here you go." Just more people are coming in for the morning.
Like regulars.
Yeah, people coming in for, like, you think early job sort of work stuff. As you hear the door open, you let's see, let me check people's passives.
Oh, I didn't put it.
Paru's got the best, then Harland. As the door opens and you hear Nando, like, saying hello to people, you glance around, you see out the window across the street, you see Villain sort of sitting on the curb, kind of just shaking out their hair, sitting there. Nicket comes over, kind of like kicking rocks a little bit, got something behind their back, and pulls out one of the little bell fruit and offers it to Villain. They're having a little moment. And he nods and takes it. And she sits down with him. He seems okay, but, I mean, stressed, but not in physical danger. Just,
I think how ducks half of their brain is asleep. Harlan, there's gonna be a Villain half of Harlan's brain that is just trying to, like.
I'm invested in this little friendship. I wanna check in on them. Door opens more, and you're like, "Hey, Susie." And Genasi comes in, sort of flame hair. "Hey, Nando," and they're just talking. And then the door opens, and you and then so you guys are just eating and having your breakfast, and oh, go ahead.
What did y'all want to accomplish today?
Do we want to do anything about the picture?
Yeah. Okay. So draw a picture, and we can.
Draw.
That's not what I was talking about exactly.
Not the picture you were talking about. Paru looks totally.
Oh, ha. Okay. Here's a. Do we need to do anything about it, or is it just like a funny story? I saw a thing that happened.
It's your choice. It's potentially your family.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, we didn't get out much. It's not that uncommon of a name. Could be anybody, right? It's like, why go barking up that tree, kind of a thing.
The address is your uncle's store.
It could have been anybody, like.
I mean, what it's, this is your decision, right? We're not gonna force you to do one thing or another. I don't think that we could, even if we wanted to. You might just beat yourself up at the not knowing, at having the opportunity to find out and not having done it. Of course, if it's not worth it to you, then that's something to consider too.
It's not. It's not that. I don't know. This picture very clearly indicates that this person was looking for these two people. And I can produce the photograph again. But I am neither of these two people. And one of these people isn't here because of me. How do you deliver that kind of news?
That I can read the word family on there. And if you are that, then wouldn't they want to know?
The note also says they want information. I mean, we know a lot about not knowing a lot about things. Do you think it'd be worse for him not to know what happened? You always just wonder? And, I mean, he may not... I don't know, I mean, this picture, she doesn't look pregnant, but maybe she was pregnant when he got pushed out, which would mean he'd probably wonder what happened to your uncle. I'm not trying to make you do it. I'm just, you worry maybe that he doesn't, or that he wouldn't accept you because you're not exactly who's in the picture, but, your mom's part of you, right? You're part of what's in the picture.
I guess.
Nobody's going to take the place of Uncle Ed. Family is as big or as little as you want it. Sometimes you get to choose and sometimes you don't. Right now, this is one of the times that you get to choose.
Hear the door open again. Hey, Nando. Oh, hi, Riza. And double strong today. Yeah, thank you.
I'll just put the photo away, I guess, for now. Maybe. Maybe, whatever. I don't know. It just seems like a big gamble. Like, oh, what if he's overjoyed and is so glad that I brought him answers? Or what if he hates me?
Why would he hate you?
Because I'm the reason that he's never going to see his daughter again. My mom died giving birth to me. So I'm why she's not here.
That's not your fault.
Paru nods. Oh, yeah, you can't put that on yourself.
I mean, it's pretty basic cause and effect. It is what it is.
Well, by that reasoning, though, she chose to have you, so it's also her fault.
That'll go over well.
I'm not saying you should tell him. I'm,
Whew.
I'm saying that it's not fair to blame just yourself because you didn't do it.
Door opens again. Nando, my friend. Oh, hey, Mr. Arkor.
I disguise self immediately.
And that's where we'll end session.
I got it in under the wire.
Hey. No, I would have still allowed it. It was fine. I was like, how? Okay, comedy rule of 5? Is that where I'm at? Like, how many of these little, like, door opening things am I gonna do?
I kept opening the door. I was like, this is a lot of commitment to ambient sound.
It was. I could have just left it go. You guys started getting really into it, and I'm like, is it too convenient that you guys started talking about it immediately when I was gonna do it? It's fine. It's dramatic irony.
I know you. I had a feeling that's what was coming.
Gotta love it. All right, so next week, chapter 27, we will we'll see what happens. We'll start right at where we left off. Oh, chat. It's so fun watching the screams. So that is all we have for you this evening. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's episode of Shenanigoons. And thank you, Lane. I made sure to put the chat on screen so that everyone could appreciate. We love you too. Once again, if you're new to the stream, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Saw we had a couple of raids today, or a couple of subscriptions today, follows, raids. Thank you so much. We are here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. And you can follow us here on Twitch at We Are Nerdsmith or on Twitter at We Are Nerdsmith. Or you can join us on our Discord channel, where we do all of our... Sorry, I didn't mean to clap in the mic. We have all of our updates and stuff that happen over there, too. We're also starting some community events. One of our moderators / directors, Franz, is hosting some Jackbox games every other Friday. So if you want to come hang out, that's one thing we're getting going. We're talking about some other community events, including maybe some old show rewatches or things like that. Lots of fun stuff going on over at the Discord, so please come join us. Thank you again to our sponsors, Eldritch Foundry, World Anvil, and Die Hard Dice. Make sure you check out the information in the chat if you want to find out more about our really amazing sponsors and get any discount codes that we have, especially this month's Dire D20 multi-class, specifically the champion style of the dice. They're really, really kick-ass. And you can use Nerdsmith-May for 10% off your purchase. And then also thank you so much to everybody in chat who stuck with us for the whole episode and continue to come back every week. We really cherish you, and we love having you. You're definitely part of the show, regular staples, and we very much appreciate you. And thank you so much to my players. It is always a joy to see you and to play. And I'm very excited to continue this next week. You see, audience, when a player gives you knives, and by knives I mean plot devices that they say, here, hurt me with this. And when other players make suggestions about things that should be in the next session, I won't name names, sometimes it all coalesces into great storytelling opportunities. And so that's how that happened. You can catch us here. Sorry, I didn't mean to get that. It was a fireside chat with me for a moment. We stream here every Tuesday and also on Mondays. Mondays, 9 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for Discover RPG, which has essentially turned into my Goonies prep, which you can also find, I believe, Yes, which you can find me working on maps, like the historical map of Thuria was the thing I was working on today. But I'm going to be doing a bunch of other stuff, so this stuff will all be available on our Patreon and our World Anvil for the world of Vale. You'll be able to check out all of these spots, and eventually we'll, as the players explore them, there'll be little tidbits about each of these places on the map, and you can find out more and zoom in and explore them. Our Patreon subscribers have access to the 4K versions of these, the high-def versions of these maps, so you can get cool downloads of them. And you can find us at patreon.com/nerdsmith. Your support on Patreon and here with tips for contributing to the chaos help us keep our lights on, pay our bills, pay our artists and our performers, and all of those are really important to us, and we really appreciate it. So thank you so much for sticking with us and being awesome. We will see you next week for chapter 27, and have a good night. Have a very safe week. Make good choices. Get shot in the arm if you haven't yet. Ow. I just did it today. I shouldn't have done that. It's fine. It's okay. And above all, please do me a favor and be good to each other. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.